So, welcome all of you. We had quite a few sign up today, and we're happy to do the Using New SmartMusic Jazz and Improvisation Tools webinar. And my name is Lee Callisted. I'm a Make Music Education Manager. Been there at Make Music since 2003 after 29 years of teaching saxophone, jazz bands, concert bands, and so on. My colleague, Giovanna Cruz, is a string and orchestra specialist. She joined Make Music in July of 2014 after teaching 7 years in the Austin Public School District. We also have a guest today. Our Make Music Higher Ed consultant may chime in now and then, Ted Scalzo. He has had a long and successful career as a jazz educator, concert band educator out in New York. Now has time to play in jazz trombone in different large bands or big bands. So we're glad to have Ted here as well. As a Make Music Education Manager, I really want to stress that we take being the voice of the customer very seriously. We listen to your feedback. And based on what you are telling us, then we create content like this and our in-person trainings and our convention clinics and so on. Today, we're going to be looking at New SmartMusic, the web-based platform, and how it applies to jazz. But everything we're talking about also works in the SmartMusic Classic application. And if you're familiar with that, the difference is that the web-based is available for Chromebooks, Macs, PCs, and iPad, where the Classic is only on computers and iPad as an app. And of course, the web-based is formatted a little bit differently, but they've really been very close on the features and the content. My outline for today is to talk about the jazz methods, jazz improvisation, jazz ensemble. By the way, there's full ensemble and there's solo practice charts as well. And a little known item called the Power of Two, which is several jazz duets. Once we looked at the content and how to use it, I want to touch base on assignments and practice options, and then how you can add your own content. Picture of the home screen, and just to know how to get around the home screen, look in the upper right corner and you'll see this view when I click on Dashboard, and that came in a few months ago as the way to get around the program. When you click on the dashboard, you have the admin, the find music, upload music, gradebook, units, practice analysis, class tools. By the way, class tools are setting up your calendar and your grading setup and letter grades. So that's an immediate way to go around the program. That isn't our main focus today, but I just want you to be aware that dashboard is a great place to go to those different views. What I do want to check is that you know how to get around all the views when you open up a piece of music. So we'll do that, and then we'll take a look at these method books. So as I share my screen, you're seeing SmartMusic Live. On the left side, we have all the business of classes and assignments and templates and things like that. On the right side, notice that we have all these tiles, band, orchestra, exercises, method books, jazz improv, and so on. And under each tile is where you would find that content. What I wanted to show you is when you open something up, and we'll be opening different things along the way. Here's a little jazz band chart called Bossa Nueva. Typically, when you open up music, the default is tracks view. And in there, I'm just going to go through these different views real quickly. The accompaniment, a great feature, you can have a slider for how loud it is, and of course turn it off and on. Do the same thing with my part, the metronome, even do subdivisions right there. Real easy point and click. The kids have done great with that. The next tier down, you can type any tempo or minus and plus the tempo and reset it. Count off between loops or at the beginning, just change your count off beats. That's a nice handy option. And then you play with the green button, you record with the red, and you listen to your recording with the blue and arrow and the red dot. So those just some navigations, and then page to page over on the right. So that's the tracks view. Basically, click on anything and you're going to have an action. The display view, a new thing just came in on Wednesday of this week, colorblind mode. We'll show a little bit of that later. And that's the red and green assessment, but now it's blue and kind of a tan color for those people that have colorblind issues. Some people like to highlight the current measure, others do not. And the cursor could be beat, flow, note, or off. Any of those choices. There's a great zoom feature, and the music actually reflows, moves around the page, so it just gets bigger and bigger. Great for showing an example in class, or for maybe you've got a student that's got some issues with their sight, and this gives them a nice way to isolate a piece of music or show it for the whole class. So I just wanted to do a little housekeeping for those of you that haven't used it. We've had really good response to the way this is set up. If I click on the assessment tab, do you want to see the red and green assessment or not when you practice? Do you want to do a clap or rhythm practice instead of playing the notes? And you can assign directly from here, put the tuner on and calibrate the mic. A nice feature right from above the music as well is, do you want to be on this piece or another movement? And do you want to switch to a different instrument? Great feature is the loop. When you click on loop, you have a set button over on the left. If I click on the set, wherever my highlight is by cursor, I get these little handles and I just drag my loop region. And a lot of us that do jazz practice don't want to wait around 4 counts. So I'm going to take that down to 1 beat in between my loops so I don't have to wait around. So you have the option for that. It's just really a nice feature, and I'll clear out the loop. If you have done the recording and done a few takes, my takes over here will show your last 5 scores and your best scores. So just wanted you to be aware that navigating has a lot of options, and they're all really, really easy to use. The first place I would go for the best pedagogy and practice files for students is method books. And so in the jazz method books, here's what you might find. There are 10 jazz methods, and you find them when you open up the methods by typing in the keyword as jazz, and I'll show you how that might look. Of these 10, I didn't think we needed to see all 10 of them today because you can do your own checking on that. So I picked out 4 that have different styles of practice. Articulate Jazz Musician is a great call response. Essential Elements, got some basic things going there. The Jazz Essentials, Standard of Excellence. These are just 4 different samples of these 10 books. So our next thing here is is jazz improvisation. Is that you can go on any instrument and practice. I'm just going to show you a quick look at that. So this is one of the tunes from the blues in that practice files, and I can go to any of those other titles. And then the part that is nice, if you have other instruments, you won't find all these different horns ready to go in some of the other charts and method books. So there is a good news there. And of course, they do have the lead lines, they have the chord changes. The next part of this is the jazz ensemble charts. And they are in the band and orchestra. Currently, what I would do, when you open up that tile, because it was band and orchestra, that category is highlighted. And then down below, if you click on jazz as your genre, that will take you down from the 5,000 titles or so down to just the ones that have jazz. And again, I'm going to put a little video here of two different jazz ensemble charts just to kind of show the difference. We just opened up all the jazz charts by typing in or clicking on jazz in the band orchestra category. However, there's 81 charts that have a solo track, and if you type in the word solo, that will show you the charts. So let me just show you this, and let's get your comments in the back end. find music is one of the ways to have kids have a little bit more interesting way to find their music. So you see all these different features across the top. That keeps changing out. The genres down the middle, and then featured publishers at the bottom. What I did here is across the top, I just typed in search for, quote, the power of two, and I put that in that search window. And when I do that, I find that there's a whole bunch of pretty easy jazz duets. The nice thing about these is you can have either part played in the mix, so you could be the first player or the second player and hear the other part, or you can have neither part in the mix and just hear the rhythm section. So this is just a really short example of that power of two. This is two assignment types. The first is I just want to take and assign this hunting wabbits chart and choose a predefined assignment 1. Every part on every large group has predefined assignments. By the way, you can highlight and copy them, put them in a Word doc and post them. Then on the left side, I've put a box around those things that as a teacher you would do, the metronome, the accompaniment, the type of beat, the highlights, sight reading. When you set all that, you just go to the next page, that upper arrow. That little blue circle with the plus is how you would add your own criteria. When you open up at first, it has a grading one, but you can put any criteria, any rubric you want, tone, technique, anything. I've got too many going here, but I'm going to go down the row and pick one just for recording, and I'll just open that up so you can see what I put in. This grade is for recording. I'll be listening to tone, intonation, overall sense of your performance, and so on. So that's my grading system for this. I'll add that for this assignment. And since it's a jazz chart, it's okay, I think, to do red and green, but I want to listen to the style and the recording. I got the possible points in there. Go to the next page. And because it was predefined, every assignment for every part is ready to go. So I'm just going to send it out. Pick my class. Set when's it going out, when's it due, who gets it. Just read the prompts there, very straight ahead. And that's it. So a predefined assignment, every single part has that first logical spot that you would do as an educator. It's a great time saver. However, if you choose custom assignment, now you're in charge of the region that you're going to schedule, put in your own directions, of course. So now we'll go through the same prompts. When you open up the custom assignment, notice that the entire chart is highlighted, bar 1 to 250 in this case. I'm going to scale that down and go 19 to 26 beat 1. So that's the region I want for this short little assignment. Now, I could do the same setup for all parts, but really this is the sax section only. So I'm going to do custom, and now that I've defined the area, I'm going to copy that area to the rest of the sax section. Then what do I want to copy to it? I've picked out which parts are going to get it. So I'm going to do the tempo, the location, and my instructions. That easily, I've designed my own custom assignment for the sax section from bar 19 to 26 and whatever instructions I've added. I might also want to set a particular tempo, like a slower practice tempo, or maybe not let them turn in with the accompaniment on. So those are two different routes. One is predefined and set it out. The other is, nope, I want to do my own assignment.
Hey, Lee.
Yes, sir.
Just something to add on to this. When you're doing these assignments with your kids, something that I found really yielded great results was to send out this first assignment and not have the kids play it, but have them vocalize it. Sometimes I would just say, just go do da do do the rhythm in a swing style, and then eventually it evolved to, I said to the kids, I want you to actually try to sing the pitches. And what it started to do was, instead of them focusing on their technique, they focused on the art of playing the jazz. And then they would come back to those rehearsals and we wouldn't have to talk about that. They could do it. And then, in future, if you needed to, we could have them do the assessment part of it. But the bottom line is I found having them sing with the jazz accompaniment was probably stronger than actually having them play. It's really kind of a nice result.
Yeah, I can really see that. If you have the concept in mind, if the concept's there, I think the fingers will follow. But if you can't get past the fingers, it's end of story. Anyone else have any comments on that? Or you've tried one way or different ways you've approached getting kids to get a jazz concept going? You can chime in on that if you want. I'm going to, at the risk of causing confusion, I'm going to go just one step down the rabbit hole. Not that you have to remember this, but there is another option here, and once you've looked at it slowly with a cup of coffee, it is really easy and quite powerful. So you don't have to remember every step, but I want you to know that there is another thing you can do here. So I'm going to take that assignment 1, the predefined assignment. Say, okay, I'm going to edit the parameters right away. And to do that, I go up to the blue arrow and go to the next page. I have the same setup before. Do I want to use the same for all parts or a custom setup? So this way around, I'll pick the soprano sax again for the sax section, and the assignment came up as bar 1 through 31. I'm going to shorten it up to just bar 1 to 18. But the benefit I have, and by the way, I might change the tempo. That's another option here, because I can do exactly at least or any tempo. And I'll schedule it out with that tempo. But now I have the comments from the predefined, and I have the region that I wanted. So when that's appropriate, that's just another way to tweak a predefined assignment, keep all their comments that you like, edit them any way you want. So there's a lot of flexibility on that assignment process. That's all there is to it. Just take an assignment, tweak it. Now all the saxes have measure 1 through 18. They all have the same comments, and I just go ahead and post it out. If you're going to send assignments, then the logic follows that you'd have to grade assignments. But here's the basic process of uploading. You can import a music file, it's a music XML file, from any notation program that supports that. You can also write your own music in New SmartMusic. So again, in that upper right in the dashboard, one of the options there is upload music. I click on that, takes me to this place where I put in the name of what I'm going to upload and the pop-up for is it band orchestra, is it a solo or exercise or so on. So I choose band orchestra. In the next page, I'm going to add music. Now I've got two options here. Do you want to upload a score or do you want to create one? I'm going to do the upload, and I left out a couple of steps here where you go down the left side and you verify that it is a saxophone part, it is a trumpet part, it is a piano part. All the way down, you just verify, 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 and your chart's ready to go. That's a really nice feature, and then you open it up in New SmartMusic as your uploaded content. So that's very quick, looks good, works great. The other option is pretty cool, and that's where you create a score right in the New SmartMusic program. And when you do that, you have templates or quick creation. I chose templates, jazz, big band, my new chart, 12 bars long, 4/4 time, B flat major. And in the next screen, I'm just showing where if I'm pointing and clicking notes, or I could use a MIDI keyboard, I could record to a beat with a MIDI keyboard. I can add all my markings, all my slurs, all my dynamics, everything about it. It's a really good notation program, and it's right in New SmartMusic, and it's web-based, so you can do it on your Chromebook. So just wanted to go through that as an option. The teacher in me wants to do a quick review of what we've looked at today. We started out with the jazz methods, the jazz improvisation. We looked at two flavors of jazz ensemble, the full ensemble and those 81 charts that have solo practice tracks along with them, the power of two duets, a little bit on assignments and practice, and then adding your own comment. A couple new features that have just popped in. There's a blog that was out on May 18th about early-late assessment. And notice there that now if you play the right pitch, but you play it early or late, it's going to show that yellow or note head to the right or to the left based on late or early. So there's a blog on that shows the different examples, and that's in place right now. And then when you first open up New SmartMusic now, you should have a little memo that pops up, a little notification that explains that. You can either click on Learn More, Tell Us What You Think, or Got It. Close out that little overlay window. And then this is the one I referred to earlier, where we've had traditional red and green assessment, but now you can select to display colorblind mode, and you'll get blue notes and that kind of beigey note, which works a lot better if people have some colorblind issues. New SmartMusic has a really, really good help center. Everything we're talking about, features, assignments, all those details are listed right in the help center. And then just want to mention, we do the virtual trainings and in-person trainings. That's great for a school district. And we also have webinars we've been doing the last year. This one is from last fall, where Dean Sorensen did one on rehearsal techniques for jazz band. So there's a lot of great webinars sitting in our SmartMusic YouTube channel. And there's a link, of course, on that page. Okay, I got a good question here from Wendy. Could you clarify once more about the differences between the two types of SmartMusic? Are some of these features only with one version of SmartMusic? Great question. No, right now the features are the same on both. There is a little bit of catch-up work to do with some solo literature in New SmartMusic because they had to get the licensing in place. And they've got most of that licensing done, and they're adding the solo titles as fast as they can. One of the big differences is that the web-based will work on Chromebooks. The Classic won't. The web-based, it has a completely different pricing structure, which we'll show you in a second. And every piece of content, solos in particular, on web-based have the music on screen. So Classic, as you may know, does not have all the solo literature on screen. And here's this is the other difference, Wendy, about the pricing. The Classic Educator pricing is $140 for teacher. The new web-based is $40 per year per teacher. And the student access for Classic is $40 a year. And in web-based, let's say you've got younger students and they just need the method books and something that you've written and assigned to them. That's a $4 subscription, and they have all the methods and anything that you write and assign or upload and assign. If you want to assign solo titles and ensemble titles plus what they get with the methods, then you're at $8. And if you want them to open anything all the time, anytime, then you're at $12. And any of those combinations, the option with Classic is you would need a computer or an iPad, and it would be $40. So quite a difference that way. Now, if you haven't tried new SmartMusic yet, there is a big Chromebook giveaway that we're doing, a big contest there. And if you are interested in that and you haven't tried it yet, this would be a great way to take a look at it. I'm going to chat in that same link you're seeing there to start a free trial and get a chance to win one of the several Chromebooks they're giving away. You have to do that before June 30th. And when you do that link, it'll bring up this page, and you've got a sign up now button sitting there. We do a lot of blogs this one's written by Dean Sorensen about 5 ways jazz conducting is different. We have all the webinars that we've been doing like this one. We edit them down and post them on our YouTube channel. And we're ready for last questions and any information you might want to share, any advice you might want to give. So any other questions there? See, how can we find the library of literature before we sign up? I'm string orchestra, including jazz. You see, I'm going to click on band and orchestra. If I click on that tile, it'll bring me up all the 5,327 results for band and orchestra. These are going to be split in the next few weeks, I'm told, into band separate from orchestra. The way people are doing it right now is they might type in an instrument and saying, I only want to see those pieces that have a violin in them. That's kind of a shortcut to do that. And there's 1,599 titles that have violin that are in that orchestra category, string orchestra or sometimes full orchestra. So that would be the way I would just look to see what all the literature is. And with that free trial, you can try those fully, and you can even have some free students with that, so you can try assignments and do the whole thing for 30 days. Okay, thanks so much.